Greetings and welcome, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, to episode 364. 7. Where did 4 come from? You can even see me look down at the beginning of the intro to check the episode number.
It even says the number.
And I read it and I went, yeah, sure. And then I just changed it in my head.
Your brain just went, there's a 4 in there.
4. It's 60. Yeah, sure. I want to go back in time. I was so much more innocent 3 episodes ago. Yes, it's episode 367 of the Words About Games podcast, the weekly gaming podcast for Words About Games. I'm your host, Amy Kate Alexander, and I'm joined this week by the 3-star champ himself, Mr. Daffod Moody.
I feel underdressed now. You only say that when I have that shirt on.
I know, but I haven't noticed that shirt for a while. So I was like, true. Fuck it, I'm just going to fucking do it.
Fine, okay. Howdly doodly do, everyone. It's Friday. You know what that means. It's video game day, and we've got some video games to talk about. Well, Amy has a video game to talk about.
I do. From Brooklyn, NYC himself, the 3-star champ. There you go. See, now I've tied it into your actual t-shirt.
Okay, yay.
Yeah. I'm tired today, and I don't know why.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, bless.
Don't worry, I've got enough left in the tank for this podcast. If I can do this podcast with COVID, I can do it when I'm a bit sleepy.
Amy, you were dead by the end of COVID. by the end of that episode.
But I did it.
And still uploaded it, ready. That shows COVID. I didn't catch COVID. COVID caught me.
Yeah. I didn't have a problem with COVID. COVID had a problem with me. No, I had a problem with COVID, yeah. Oh, dear. How are you?
But I give it came out swinging, though.
Oh, it decked me. There's no doubt about it. I got in a few punches.
Yeah, a few jabs. And then just decked you.
Yeah. It's like that like any of those like comedy scenes from the fighting thing where you go ba 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 ba, and then it just looks at you and goes bang, and you just
something like that. To answer your question, I'm well. I'm not bad at all. Reasonably refreshed right now after what's been going on over the last week and everything.
You stole my energy. I see.
Well, I lost it all over the weekend, and I got it all back by Monday, so it was all right. Yeah, no, I've been okay. Putting on work and everything like that, and yeah, just cracking on.
Yeah, cool. I was gonna say, how's work? And then I was like,
work's good.
Yeah, it's good, but I'm not getting anything more than that.
Exactly.
That's why I don't usually ask. In case anyone wonders why I don't politely ask Moody how work is going. 1, we talk about it away from this podcast. 2, we're not going to talk about it on our publicly recorded podcast.
We've bought GTA 6.
Finally happened.
It finally happened.
Imagine if you woke up tomorrow and there was just news headlines. Just...
That would be very interesting. I'd be like, and I've took the day off work tomorrow as well. I'm like, seriously, guys? So you do it on purpose. But work's going well. Like having good, as always, like busy. But yeah, we'll just crack on, just keep on doing what we're doing and whatnot.
Yeah, cool.
And like I said, I'll stay off screen for you, but I'll stay here. I'm coming up to a year I've been there, which is absolutely amazing. Like, I've been a year in the industry since April, by back end of April, beginning of May, really.
Sure.
When I started at PlayStation, and now I'm at where I'm at and everything, and it's like, yeah, it's been really, really good. Obviously, life altering. Like, where
just a touch.
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah, I had to change areas and everything. But no, yeah, it has been really, really good. It's been really good for us, and it's like, yeah, but yeah, it's been really happy and everything like that. And yeah, we're just cracking on.
Nice. Sorry, a motorbike went outside. Went rrr. That's why I was like, huh? I think you just turn and there's a motorbike coming through my window. I wouldn't even see it. The curtains are closed. Nice. Well, I'm glad you're having I'm glad you're feeling energy, full of beans. I say
that, but I've just yawned like crazy. But I am reasonably okay. Yeah, I'm pretty good.
That's good. I'm good too. Thanks.
Did I not ask that?
No, I've been stalling because I was expecting you to do, because you usually do, but then I was like, I'm just gonna have to dive in, otherwise this.
Oh, I asked that. Oh no.
Otherwise we're gonna be sitting in awkward silence for a while.
How are you, Remy?
I'm good, thank you.
Oh, very good, very good. How's your week been?
Not as. I don't have any milestones coming up.
How's your work going?
Nice try. I don't have a job. What are you talking about? No.
Okay.
No. I make content full time, and you can clearly tell by the one video essay I've released in 2023. I'm working on another one. We had a long chat last week.
You're waiting until N7 day.
You're gonna laugh.
The thing is, that was a joke when we said that. I think you actually
It's gonna be like past N7 day. You're gonna laugh.
I hate you.
Because we had a long chat about that last week after the podcast was over, and then and I'm making something that's not that.
I guess that.
Is that why you hate me?
No, I don't hate you at all. No, but no. Obviously, what we were talking about last week, you do seem like you've hit a wall with that, and I think you needed to move on to something else just for this time being. So hopefully, this gets your creative juices back.
Seems to be.
Move back on. That's good.
Seems to be. I was because I was talking to a friend of mine, about it after we'd spoken, and about like, oh, I don't know what to do. It's like decision paralysis, right? It's like I have so many options. It's like I don't know which one to pick. And she said, well, pitch me your best three. Like the strongest three. So I did. And one of them was the Mass Effect video, obviously. It's definitely one of the strongest ones since it's partly written. And I said, it is, sort of. But it was fully written at one point. It was just awful. And I said to her, just look, I'll pitch them and you pick one. And whatever you pick, I will just do that. And so I pitched the three ideas. She picked the one that she thought would be the most interesting for her to watch. And she's not a game dev; she's working games. And I went, okay, cool. And then I just went off yeah, you're right about the wall, because I think 48 hours after that conversation, I was like, I've got an outline. So I've spent my week. Not all of my week, but I've spent my week watching old GDC talks and reading papers and finding things, getting evidence, preparing the lawsuit. I mean, what? Not a lawsuit.
Cool. I'm over the moon for you. You know that. You've been pottering on about it for a while, but especially on the Mass Effect one. But you've needed, even I know, I could clearly see you needed that little diversion on something else, which is just, go for it. That's what you want to say.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun video. It's not about one specific game. So it's about an industry thing. I almost gave in to the temptation to make a rebuttal to the IGN video about devs panicking, and then I was just like, I can't. There's too much work though.
For me, I would wait until the Desmond did that. Destin does his second video.
What I will say is, though, one of the first things I wrote, because I've written part of the intro already, and what I will say is I've already written a joke about that into
Fabulous.
The video.
Fabulous.
Because
is it something like, I'm going to come in here with no evidence whatsoever, and I'm just going to blurt my facts and twist the truths?
I've got the essay open on my laptop, so if you give me a second, I'll find it and I will read it to you. So the sentence, there's a paragraph before that, and then it says, but unlike an IGN video producer, when I don't know something, I ask people who do.
Bravo.
Yeah.
Bravo.
I was proud of myself.
Sounds good to me.
Well, I'll put it in there and we'll have a whole thing, and should I put in one of those things they have at sitcom recordings where the light flashes laughter, and then I'll put in the canned laughter from a sitcom. It's too much. too much. This is a good idea if I ever decide to do it for another thing, though. But yeah, no, like been doing that and having fun, learning. Learning. Do you know what one of my biggest regrets in life is?
Is not learning.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, it's knowing that I wanted to do something with writing, which I'm doing. Yeah, even if it's not like professionally, I am doing it, and have been like in my own way this entire time. But it was going to university to study writing. Like it's so like writing is a craft, and it's something that you need to learn and hone and sharpen. But like, I wish I'd gone to university and studied something, like like a thing, like a science or history or something.
Yeah.
Rather than writing.
Well, you can still do that if you wanted to. But
if I've got like 60 grand in my back pocket.
That's the thing about it.
Yeah.
Like it's like I've said on many kids, like that's what I did. I didn't go to uni. I went to college to be able to get my degrees for video games and everything like that. But at the same time, I truly believe with everything what I did, I could have just got like I'm proud of what I got with my degrees. Like I got a couple of distinctions and a one pass and a merit, which the merit was on my final day, and I was thinking I didn't even finish the fucking year, guys. So that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I was so strong at the beginning, I was able to finish it off, but to be able to at least get a good enough grade that I felt even more proud of. I didn't even think I was going to get one, but no. I could have got lower grades, and I think I would have still been okay in everything, because that's how you. I think for the most part, for me, it's like I truly believe now when it comes to like college or just in education in general, it's more of that you've proven that you have stuck at something for many, many years, and showing that you've got you can dedicate yourself to something, and that's what I think is something. I think a lot of things that a lot of people need to maybe try and strive for, but if you ever wanted to do that, I would be pushing you for that. But obviously, if you could financially do it,
if I could afford it,
like, yeah. I only admit I could not have done what I did if I didn't have my partner. Like she was the lifeblood for us for a good few years. And like I've stayed, I think I'm pretty sure I've stayed on this. I'm now literally full on like repaying her to the end of my life, basically. Which I've been told is 80. And I said, you'd be lucky if I hit 80. But she says, oh, your granddad's close to 100. Yeah, but he's a freak.
He's the exception.
He survived World War II. Of course he was going to hit 100 almost.
I can't argue with that logic.
No, you can't. He survived World War II. Of course he's going to fucking hit 100. Yeah, he was a child. He never actually went out to war, but he was close to an explosion. He still did this. So I was like, of course, he survived that. Fucking go for it.
That's cool. Close to an explosion, shit.
Mm-hmm. I thought I was in London one time.
The Blitz.
Like, one time. Like, he was just there. I can't fully remember why he was there, because he's lived in the Northeast all his life and everything like that. Like he's grew up there and everything like that. I think it was, I can't fully remember, but he was there, and I was just like, why the fuck did you go there? And he's like, I can't remember.
That's fair.
I get it.
I remember I was there, and that's all you get.
Yeah, I remember it. Yeah. Well, all right, that's all right. I understand it, but it's been. Like, that's what I'll say to anyone who wants to, for education. Education, yes, work your ass off, listen, educate yourself and everything like that, but it's more just showing you dedication.
Yeah, like, I don't know if I got much out of learning writing that I haven't, like, I feel like I've gotten more out of it, like, since I've been doing it. It's a weird one. And, like, I don't know if I'll ever, like, talk about my experiences of doing it as a degree, but there were a lot of bad experiences. Like I really appreciated the university experience as a whole, like being out, being independent, moving away when I was 18 years old, and standing on my own 2 feet. These 2 feet, they're the same feet. But yeah, like the actual course itself, just I don't know if someone who, and no one's going to ask me for advice on how to be a writer. But if that ever happened, I'd probably be like, just keep practicing your writing, but maybe study a thing, like something that you're passionate about.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. Writing is is in a lot of jobs and everything like that. But if you want to be a creative writer or anything like that, it's a very niche thing, and it's also a very difficult thing to try and get into. Right now, writers right now in films and TV are literally on fucking strike right now, which is keep on going, people. We're here fully behind you and supporting you as best we can. But that's even if you try to get into a newspaper or something like that, that's incredibly fucking difficult as well. And so it's I see where you're coming from that. There's no doubt about that. But I was late. I was very late bloomer when it came to figuring out what I wanted to do. So
I don't think I have. Truth be told, I think I'm just doing shit for the hell of it.
Yeah.
It's good though. No, I mean, as far as the learning thing goes, it's I do, right? Like I've just been saying, I've been reading academic papers about video games, but I was just before this podcast started, I'd finished food, I was ready, and then I was like, cool. Well, I've still got 30 minutes, so I just put on a video about a volcano, and I learned about Yellowstone volcano. Just for the hell of it.
Cool. I've been learning about dinosaurs in a volcano.
Dinosaurs in a volcano?
Oh, around a volcano.
Around a volcano.
At a high school volcano.
Is this? I was going to say, this isn't the unannounced Dino Crisis 4 currently in development. Merged games.
No. Yeah. No, I've been playing Goodbye Volcano High. I haven't played much of it. I've played an hour and a half. And it's just, I've just been too busy to get back to it and everything like that. My game's obviously cracked back onto it over the weekend. And I'm just having a look at it right now, and I've seen walkthroughs. Not
cool.
Too long.
Yeah.
I could get this done.
Someone said
that's good though, because that means I can get onto Sea of Stars.
I've seen 6 to 8 hours for Volcano. That's good.
Yeah.
I just realized you saying that I haven't played a video game since last Friday morning.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Since you completed a certain thing?
Since I completed a certain thing. I've been watching Stargate.
What?
I've been watching Stargate.
I've been watching The Expanse.
Damn.
I'm at the end of season 2.
I'm watching Stargate SG-1 from the very beginning.
Nice.
I mentioned it, and I mentioned it to a bunch, because that's what I do, right? When I tell everyone what I'm doing. I can't help it. And then one person did say, I don't think they watched the podcast, but it is hilarious that one person did say, I didn't know you liked Stargate. And I'm like,
there's a literal fucking sign right behind
that's been there the entire time.
Yeah, it has. Yeah.
But I don't think they watched the podcast. But it is still funny, because if they do, it's just there's been a Stargate thing behind me for 150 podcasts.
I've just realized something. I'm missing two
I was gonna
displays.
Yeah, no, as soon as you said you've just realized something, I looked and I was like, huh. I thought maybe your light was just turned up so it was reflecting.
So that was the bang that I heard 3 days ago.
Oh, yeah, that might be it.
I heard a bang and I literally went, ah! And I literally even texted the missus saying, I heard a bang, what the hell's going on downstairs? Thinking it was downstairs.
Has the pub exploded?
She was at work. Has the world ended? Have they finally done it? Has the Tories finally killed us all? Oh my god! Why am I still alive? What's going on? Why have they left me here?
Well, funnily enough, that's what I was learning about before we started recording the podcast. Yellowstone is not going to erupt and kill us all.
I thought you were going to say the Tories aren't going to blow us up yet. I was like, oh god.
No, they need us to continue to give them all our money. They're not going to blow us up.
What, so they can give them back to the mates?
Yeah. Exactly.
Jesus, I just realized, I just noticed it now. I've been in here all day. I've worked here today. So I'm I didn't even notice it at all.
To be fair, you're not facing it.
Yeah, true. And I haven't had a camera on at all.
You would only
today,
have, this for now. So you've noticed it more or less as soon as you could.
My God.
It's fine. It's an Easter egg. What episode did Moody lose 2 of his displays?
Oh no, I'm pretty sure they were up last week. I think it's happened over like the weekend.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Which episode number? And then it'll be like 364.7.
47. So 3,047. 3,647. Fucking hell.
If we have a 3,647 movie, I'm going to need you to come and put me out of my misery.
God, how old would we be then?
Like 600 years old.
No, we wouldn't.
I don't know.
300,
I don't know how to do
300
maths.
now. It's 54 weeks in a year.
Yeah, and you're talking about 3,000 more podcasts. So I know I was going to start the review, but now I need to know the answer.
Yeah, I need to know this
So
as
hold
well.
on, right? There's 52 weeks in a year times how many? Let's just round it out and say 3,000.
Say 3,000.
That's 156,000 weeks. So okay, how many
Episodes.
years is
That.
what did I just say? 156,000 weeks.
The suspense is killing me.
Hold on, I need to do some more maths.
You're like, that doesn't sound right. You're
No,
gonna
it
say
sounds right.
300,000 years.
It sounds right.
What's the number?
What 2023 plus 2? Huh? It would be the year 5014.
So what?
2,000.
3,000 years.
2,991 years.
If we wanted to get to episode 3,067,
Yeah, give or take.
fucking hell.
I guess
Damn.
3,367.
Oh, well, I told my missus I'd only shall hit 80, so
I don't think we're going to hit 3,000.
Yeah, I don't
Hey,
think that's going to happen.
Look, my maths is probably wrong. It usually is. But you know what I don't need maths for, Moody? Reviewing
about
video
video
games. Yeah. I wrote a video game review in the style
finally.
of what we've been doing. I know, finally, yeah. I opened, because I just have a reviews document on Google Docs. And
So do I.
I was like, oh, I'll write it in here, and I opened it, and it was like Dave the Diver, and I was like, has it really been since Dave the Diver since I wrote a review? And I was like, yeah, it has, because Venba and Viewfinder and stuff. I was like, you wrote the reviews, and I just talked with you. And Vitz for Venba. But yeah, no, so I wrote a Baldur's Gate 3 review, and wouldn't you know it, it's definitely a little bit longer than a normal review that I would normally write, because hey, you know what? It's a fucking a 90-hour game.
All right. Well, before we get into your review and everything like that, I'll crack on and do the things that we always do now. Baldur's Gate 3 has been created by Larian Studios and released on August 3rd, 2023 PC, and it releases on the 6th of September, I believe, for PS5. Right now on OpenCritic, it is at a mighty OpenCritic rating with a top critic average of 96, and 100% critics recommend Baldur's Gate 3. IGN gave it a 10 out of 10. Thank God they didn't ask Destin to do the review. Eurogame give it a 4 out of 5. PC Gamer 97 out of 100. Metro Game Central 9 out of 10. Games Radar Plus 5 out of 5. Game Informer 9.5 out of 10. Destructoid 10 out of 10. Hobbies Consoles. I've never heard of this, but it's on there.
Hobbies consolas. It's Spanish.
Okay. 96 out of 100. Those are all the ones on the front of OpenCritic. Amy.
Gonna say, if you're gonna do them all, I'm gonna go make a cup of tea. Maybe
There's 87 of them there, and I'm not going to do all that. No.
Watch an episode of
Amy.
Stargate.
What are your thoughts on Baldur's Gate 3? Is it the game of the year?
I don't know. It's August. I don't know.
I don't know. That's what everyone says. Everyone's forgotten about Zelda. Zelda who?
Zelda.
That's what everyone's talking about. Everyone's just Zelda who now.
I don't have a funny joke. I was trying to think of one, but I don't have one. Anyway, I wrote this last Friday, so I forgot most of it. So let's see what I said. Baldur's Gate 3, the biggest game of 2023, or at least of the past few months. A grand epic adventure across Dungeons & Dragons Sword Coast as players gather a party and race against time to save themselves from turning into a monster, unraveling and struggling against a conspiracy of world-ending proportions along the way. Or choosing to turn into a monster and aiding the conspiracy of world-ending proportions. Or something in between. Baldur's Gate 3 is just that kind of game after all. So I'm just going to get this out of the way right off the bat, because if you're listening to these words, then you've undoubtedly heard me talk about the game over the past few weeks. Baldur's Gate 3 is a magnificent game. I am going to add a couple of asterisks to that assessment as this review goes on, though. But for the majority of my 80 to 90 hours with the game, I was enraptured. My Steam account had trouble tracking my playtime, so I'm not 100% sure how long my first playthrough has taken. Whatever free time I've had for the past few weeks has been completely devoted to my adventure across the Forgotten Realms, from spending hours exploring every corner of the titular city to squeezing in a quick quest or two before leaving the house. I've been playing tabletop RPGs, including Dungeons & Dragons, for decades. There's nothing quite like getting together with a group of like-minded people and collaboratively imagining your way through a story. And although Baldur's Gate 3 isn't a one-to-one replication of this, a feat which would be impossible without a GM reacting flexibly in the moment to whatever ridiculous bullshit your tempo bard is trying to pull at any given moment, it comes far closer than any RPG, which is a testament to how deeply Larian Studios understands the type of experience it's trying to recreate in Baldur's Gate 3. I'll talk about the combat first, which is personally my least favourite thing about D&D. It's engaging, thanks in large part to the fact all of the game's fights feel purposeful. You know that thing in RPGs where you're wandering around a map constantly getting into random encounters that become a source of annoyance seemingly placed in the world because some executives or directors have incorrectly surmised that players will get bored if they can't murder something every few steps? There's very little of that here. Every fight, from the most epic engagements to the smallest of skirmishes, all feel purposefully placed. There's a reason for every fight you have, or avoid, in Baldur's Gate 3. That in and of itself goes a long way to making combat encounters actually feel consistently engaging. The mechanics of combat are a pretty faithful recreation of D&D, specifically 5th edition. From initiative deciding turn order to the action economy, most characters get a main action, a bonus action, and a movement each turn, although some classes can do extra stuff if they level themselves in a specific way. As your character and their companions level up, you start to unlock a huge breadth of different abilities, skills, and spells. Although this gives you huge room for experimentation and a staggering amount of different options for murder, I did mostly end up relying on a rotation of about 4 or 5 spells 95% of the time. There are no stats tracking this, but I imagine my most used spells by quite some margin on my bard character were Tasha's Hideous Laughter and Misty Step. It was a similar story with my companions too. Shadowheart might have had about 20 or so spells at her disposal, but unless I was trying to do something really specific, I was mainly using the same handful over and over again. And there's nothing wrong with this. It's not a criticism of the game in any way, merely an observation. While I imagine it can be a little hard to wrap your head around at first if you're unfamiliar with D&D, and the in-game explanations of how combat specifically works and how the UI is laid out can make things a little confusing, once you get into the flow of how the game functions in fights, the rhythm of combat can be quite satisfying. Although again, I've been playing D&D for more than 20 years, so it's a system I'm intimately familiar with. What Baldur's Gate 3 manages to replicate from D&D that I was not expecting was the wackiness that players inevitably bring with them into fights. Early on in one of my D&D campaigns, my group were fighting some monsters that only took damage from magical sources. This wasn't a huge problem for the spellslingers in the party, but it was a problem for me, a fighter with a non-magical sword. And so I got creative. I kicked one of the enemies off the rooftop we were fighting on, and I tackled another enemy into a moonbeam that had been cast by our party druid. That's just the kind of thing you can do in D&D. I never expected to be able to get away with things like this in Baldur's Gate 3. It's D&D, but it's still a video game. And yet, somehow, this creativity has been translated into the experience wonderfully. You're still constrained by the mechanics that are present in the game, but those mechanics are incredibly robust and allow you to do a lot more than swing axes or fire spells, like using a bonus action to shove a self-destructing enemy into the midst of a group of other enemies, with the resulting explosion causing a chain reaction that turned a pretty difficult fight into a cakewalk. Or using an arrow of roaring thunder to blast a full health boss who was the final encounter in a multi-act companion quest, and I assume was meant to be a tough fight, off the edge of a platform and into a chasm. He died without ever getting an attack. Allowing players to creatively use the abilities at their command takes a good combat system and makes it really fun to mess around with. The biggest issue is figuring out which 3 characters to bring with you into fights. Not because there are characters who are clearly more powerful than others, although they all have their specialized roles and that are determined by their classes, which you can change it for a small fee back at camp, but because they're all so brilliantly written and performed that you want to bring them all. Baldur's Gate 3's biggest strength is the party that you gather to fight by your side, or even play as if you choose to forego crafting your own character, and instead choose to play as one of the origin characters who are made up of your potential party members. The reason I love this game as much as I do is because I got to go on an adventure with these beautiful, wonderful people, and that includes the exceptionally written and voiced narrator that accompanies you throughout the entire game. The overarching story of Baldur's Gate 3 is fine. It's suitably epic, with end-of-the-world level stakes that slowly reveal themselves over the course of the game's 3 acts, with some truly incredible high points, such as the extraordinary House of Hope quest, which might just be my favourite RPG quest ever, featuring one of my favourite NPCs of the last decade. Or one late-stage villain who's just having way too much fun menacing you and your band of misfits and chewing every piece of the scenery she can find. But it's the characters that are the source of many of the best moments that Baldur's Gate 3 has to offer. Their personal questlines are amazing, tying into the main story or the game's central themes, or just existing as genuinely good pieces of fiction, with one notable exception I'll get to in a second. The journey some of these characters go through is genuinely more compelling than the main plot, which itself is a good rollercoaster ride. But it's not just the biggest moments the game nails. What humanizes these characters and makes them my favourite video game companions in years are the smaller ones. The party you throw after a particularly tough series of fights, encountering a circus with Karlach and a bunch of other examples I'm not going to get into here. Actually, I should have gotten those examples because I just read the next paragraph. This allows me to segue into a short tangent to shout out the excellent romance system in the game. You can definitely just fuck around and have fun. 2 of my favourite intimate encounters in the game are with characters you definitely cannot start long-term relationships with, but I'll always give major props to a game whose romance arcs don't end once you've had sex with a character. Baldur's Gate 3 treats sex as one part of a relationship, not the ultimate end goal of one. Unless you're just trying to bang devils, in which case, have fun. I genuinely cannot wait to play this game again, not to even make different choices and see different outcomes, but simply to go on an adventure with my gang of misfits, who I already miss even though it's only been a day since I finished the game. However, this does lead me to an issue that I really want to address. It's not the bugs. Sure, Baldur's Gate 3 has a whole heap of bugs and glitches, especially in the CPU-intensive third act. There are some pretty nasty ones out there, though none that I experienced myself, and the game also gets a bit choppy in its final third. But glitches and bugs will be patched and fixed. In fact, as I was writing this script, Larian deployed his first major patch, which is so extensive it exceeded the word count for Steam patch notes. What's harder to overlook, and almost marred my entire experience with the game, is how incomplete and hollow the game can feel in its third act, especially in its ending. It's evident, even without data miners combing through the game's files, that a lot has been cut from the third act, and it hasn't been cut very well. Now, things get cut from video games all the time. It's the nature of any creative endeavour that not everything will make it into the final product. Unfortunately, what seems to have been cut does a great deal to harm the overall experience. I'm not going to go into any details because they will be spoilers. Like I said, this is mostly harshly felt in the final act of the game. Questlines go nowhere. Some companions literally have nothing to do. Things are teased that simply never come to fruition. Plot holes suddenly open up beneath your feet. Character motivations and actions can shift and twist in unbelievable ways. And one major endgame villain feels hilariously pointless. The promised epilogues, which are a staple of the CRPG genre, have disappeared into the Shadow Realm, and the 17,000 potential ending variations have been pared down to less than 1% of that number, with most companions having disappointingly brief roles to play in the ending cutscene, if they even show up at all. This next paragraph is about something that they've already patched into the game, but I'm going to leave it stand. I'm going to read it as it is because it builds into my bigger point, I think. One of your companions gets, to put it bluntly, completely fucked. Their questline comes to a sudden stop, despite dialogue and items pointing you in the direction of the next quest step. Instead of being able to complete the quest and earn them a good ending, your only option is to watch a variation of their bad endings. I don't mind a tragic story, and the actor really sells the hell out of the material they're given, but tragic stories only work if you try everything to avoid them but fail. This is more, we tried nothing and we're all out of ideas. Or to use a more modern reference, this is Baldur's Gate 3's version of Daenerys kind of forgot about the Iron Fleet. This alone, aside from everything else, left a really bitter taste in my mouth right at the end of the game. But I said it almost marred the entire experience. While there are certainly things I'll be salty about forever in this game, it's still a phenomenal RPG, one whose numerous and frequent high points outweigh the game, almost unraveling in its final third. This is still easily one of the best games of the year in a year packed with bangers. I'm talking about the difference between Baldur's Gate 3 being one of the best games of the year and being one of the best games of all time, which is a thin distinction. Baldur's Gate 3, as it exists now, is still a fantastic game. Rarely does a game so completely take over my life as this one has for the past month. I'm sitting here writing this review while feeling that bittersweet feeling of having finished the game, glad that I experienced it, but sad that it's over. I've had an amazing time on this journey, and Baldur's Gate 3 is easily one of the best games of 2023. So that was a bit longer, but you know, again, 90-hour game. Had a few complicated feelings when I finished it, as you might have heard.
Yes, I did. Well, that's fantastic to hear. That obviously, we've stated on many occasions, no game is perfect. Every game has an issue and type of thing, and whatnot. And I think you've outlined them all out pretty well. It sucks to hear that. I already knew about this because we spoke about it last week, but it sucks to hear that. The third act is a bit, but pretty much a mess. It sounds like
it is. Yeah, a mess is a good way to describe it because it still has those high points. Like the one quest that I referenced as being like my favorite, the House of Hope, is the third act quest. So it's not like the third act just the wheels completely fall off or anything. Like there's still some fucking amazing things to do in the third act. But yeah, like it becomes apparent that they ran out maybe they ran out of time. I don't know. I saw people talking about an area that got cut, but then there's some contention over that. But whatever happened, there's some characters that just do not have anything to do in the third act. Like they just chill at camp. And they don't have anything to do or say beyond a voice line here or there. And you do a major story thing, they'll say one thing when you interact with them, and then that's it. And the one character who got totally fucked over made me so angry because they were my favorite character. And then you get to the final, you do the thing, you do whatever big ending that you get. And then you have the final cutscene of the game is so unbelievably anticlimactic. And then I thought it's fine because the epilogues will save it, the ones we heard about pre-release, where it's hey, this is what all the characters got up to, and it's no, there were none. It faded to the credits. There was a post-credit scene, and that was it. And I was like, what the hell? I didn't even see some of my companions in the final cutscene of the game. What the fuck happened? I don't even know what happened to some of them.
Yeah. Well, that does suck indeed. There's no doubt about it. Especially with how attached you've got to some of the characters and everything like that. And that is very disappointing. That sucks to hear that. There's no doubt about that. Overall, what do you believe? What do you take from this game overall? Because I'm very curious. We've already discussed this, obviously, with the stupid Desmond thing that we talked about a couple of weeks ago and everything. But what is it for you? What is the overall takeaway from this game? Everyone's saying it's fucking fantastic. Yes, I've heard myself. I've heard from you, but also other people. The third act is very much messy as hell and everything, but is still a phenomenal game.
Yeah.
What do you take from it? I'm curious.
Yeah, so with the third act sort of shaking apart the game itself apart, it's weird. It's it's because you don't start you notice when you're playing it. It's hard not to notice things are falling up to pieces. And it stands in stark contrast, especially to the first act, which is incredibly well put together. It was in early access the entire time, so that makes sense. The fact that the game doesn't completely fly apart is miraculous. It should have. The main plot never feels like you. I can't really go too much into depth with it without spoiling everything.
Yeah.
But like the main plot is weird in that you have main antagonists who reveal themselves that you have to deal with, and it feels like they're barely present in the story. And then you go to do the one quest that deals with them, and then it's like, cool, that was done. And it feels so strange. And then you move on to the final like stretch of the game, which is like,
that's kind of go on. Sorry,
it's like, which is like, now we're concentrating on the thing that we should have been doing this entire time. But like, this is it's a weird. It's like they had a story plotted out and then they removed a couple of pieces. And I don't know if this is accurate. And then it was like, okay, how do we tie these threads back together? And then it's like, it's gotten a bit tangled up in a couple of places.
Yeah. That sounds like a Ubisoft game. Especially the latest, that was like, no, I meant just of how big it is, to the part of like it's so big, you're doing so much, you can kind of forget about the main story, the main antagonist, and everything like that. And like that, I'm not gonna lie, that makes me question getting it a little bit. Well, I'm still going to give it a go. I've told you I have to sell money. I said it last week. This is my Christmas game, so I'm good.
I do have a recommendation for you on that regard. Like, we'll get to it after we've done this, given the score, because I do have a thing I want to say about that. But yeah, no, like the third act is huge still, even though it's clearly missing bits. Because it is the culmination of so many storylines, right? So like, again, the House of Hope quest is like a culmination of a storyline that started like in Act 1. So like, you know, it's a big, epic, awesome quest, but it's also like it's something you've been dealing with like throughout the game, and that extends to like a bunch of party companions. Again, not all of them for some reason, but like most of them do have stuff to do in Act 3. Where you have to like go and finish their quest. Like there was one party companion who I didn't really like interact with much, but like I was doing the steps of their quest as their quest was updating, and then I was like, I don't really like you that much, you know. Like there's always that companion in a party RPG where it's like, you're here and that's cool, and I'll talk to you and get your quests and stuff, but like apart from that, it's like fine. And then we did that guy's final quest, and when we did it and we got the outcome, we did the thing, I was like, oh, actually, that was awesome. Like I actually like had this whole like reevaluation in my head of how much I like this character.
Well, that's good.
Where I was like, I'm going to focus more on you when I play this game again.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good. That's what you want to see at the end of the day. I don't think there's anything else really to say. Really, you've answered a lot of things. You said a lot of things from your written review and everything like that. You stated the good, the bad, and everything like that. I don't know if I can't remember if you said. Sorry if I misheard you. How's I love a good score and music. How's the score and music in this game?
It's excellent. Like when you've got a game that's approaching like 100 hours.
Yeah.
The music's got to be good because you're going to hear some of it a lot. Like they didn't write 5,000 battle themes for all the different fights that you have. And it's really good. I mentioned this on Bluesky actually after it happened, but the House of Hope has a moment, a musical moment in it, and anyone who's played it already knows what I'm talking about. That just knocked my fucking socks off with how good it was. And I was talking to someone about it, like in the replies, and I was saying, like, yeah, when the song started, I just stopped playing and I just appreciated it for a minute, and then I got on with the fight. The music is excellent, the score is excellent, the voice acting is tremendous. Like I read somewhere today that like they had like 200 plus mocap models for the game, to really make the all of the different characters' animations feel alive, and it's just like you can tell, like when you're talking to like even like fairly minor NPCs, it's like you can tell they feel alive. They're not doing the Mass Effect or the Starfield, the Elder Scrolls thing where they're just standing like that talking to you, and maybe their eyes move. It's like, no, and that's no shade on those games, not every studio is gonna fucking mocap 300 people, but like,
or their upcoming game at all.
yeah, but like, I mean, that feeds into the thing we were talking about a couple of weeks ago. It's like even Larian probably aren't going to make a game of this scope again. Like,
not for some time, that's for sure. There's no doubt about that. Like, push comes to shove, like, they could just do bloody DLC for this game for years and years and years. Like, for the next 5 years, while preparing for their next big thing or next thing they want to do, if they wanted to. Like you've said, they clearly cut out a lot of crap. A lot of stuff from the third chapter.
They did.
That maybe they could reevaluate, redo and make it into more a DLC story that's can somehow maybe be weaved in to be not just to be done after the game, but there's a lot of games that do DLCs that's to be done after the game for that. So maybe that's something they can do and everything. So I don't know.
They talked about this yesterday. I thought about rewriting my review because I did see like them post about it yesterday, and I chose not to because one, it's still true. This review is still true to my experience of the game.
It should be nothing else,
and it builds into a larger point I want to make. In terms of like what you were just saying about wanting. Now you're not sure, even though I've just given it the glowingest review I've given a game in 2023. Like I'm not sure if I want to play it. The specific character quest that I mentioned in my written review, who gets fucked. So they've added a new epilogue to that character's story. I don't know what it does, but they're going to add the epilogues back in because they put an update out. And one of the things they talked about was the cut content, and they mentioned like a lot of things have been cut that you found in the things are. Like things that we cut for creative reasons, which again, that happens. You cut things for creative reasons. I think all of the things that I've seen since I finished the game that have been found to be cut, I think some of them just make sense in terms of things that would be cut. And then there's a few things where I'm like, why the fuck did you cut that? The epilogues was one thing that was cut that they've said, oh, we cut this because we just thought it would drag the ending on. It's like, your ending sucks. I'm sorry. it does. But like they're going to try and put those back in a later patch, which is good because I think the game needs it. Personally, I think
fantastic.
Any game where you get attached to characters like this needs some sort of epilogue to say like, here's what these characters did next, because I give a shit. You know what I mean? I give a shit about what happened to these characters. But
like it was for me. Sorry for putting in there. For me, like it was kind of the same for. Like I'll say this, like why I keep crying out for every time we talk about this bloody studio, Dragon Age Inquisition. Like I bought every single DLC for that because not only because I loved playing the game, but I was invested in the characters. And when they released the DLC, that was basically the definitive ending. It was the ending of their story, done and dusted. Whatever happens, you're not going to be playing your character again for whatever happens. What happens in that game for the next game. So So how were they going to end? Tie everything up and sort it all out. I think they did an incredible job with that because they give when the game ends and everything like on whatever choices you've decided to do and everything, they give you other stuff. They show you other stuff at the end of the game as well. It's not like CGI scenes or anything like that, but it's just like little like scripts going through the load screen and everything like that, telling you what these characters have been doing and everything like that. So like I really, really liked that, and it was just a lovely little touch. Yes, it was something that took I think about say 18 months to get to by the end, obviously since the release of the game, because obviously they released 2 DLCs that could be played anytime during the story, and obviously the final DLC, which like it was just it was an amazing ending. I thought it was absolutely brilliant because it gave me a satisfying ending for myself for it. So, but go on,
for me, just to build off of what you were just saying there, like to me, the high watermark for this is Dragon Age Origins, and always will be. Like the ending of the plot is spoilers, I guess. You beat the bad guy. How's that a spoiler? But like the ending of the plot is you beat the bad guy, and then all of the things choices that you make leading up to that are like, like maybe it's like these people show up to help and maybe this thing happens, but at the end of the day, you fight the bad guy and you win. Or you die and you reload a save and then you do it again. And then after that, you get to talk to all the characters who are still alive one last time, and you have a nice chat, and then the game ends, and then boom, you've got your epilogue screens where it's like each character and what happens to them next. I'm like, that's how you do it, man.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I agree with you.
That's how you do it. That's how so many games just haven't learned that lesson from whenever Dragon Age Origins came out. It sounds like Inquisition did the same thing. Like even after the base game, you talk to all the characters and they told you what they were going to do next. You know what I mean? Like that's my shit, man. And then you get Baldur's Gate 3 specifically, bring it back to the game that we're talking about, and there's like a cutscene where like a few things happen, and then like it's really weird, and then the game goes, you will always be known as the savior of Baldur's Gate. Or at least it did for me. I'm sure it's different endings for different people, depending on what they did at the end. But then
You'll always be known to be the man or the person who fucked up Baldur's Gate.
and then like, yeah. But,
what? I didn't do it. And
I don't want to...
I only shagged the bear.
I didn't. I told you I wasn't going to, and I didn't. But no, like, there's like characters flips. Because I've had a few people who have been playing this that I know. And we've been chatting about it, and we've all been chatting about like the game, and like there's some moments where you just go, "What the fuck just happened?" Like, there's a character in this game who just suddenly like you make a single choice, and like he's not going to be happy with it, but you think maybe, like my character's a fucking bard, right? I've got fucking persuasion expertise out the arse. Like I'll convince him why this is a good idea, and instead he just goes, "Oh well, see you later then. I'm gonna go and join the bad guys," and fucks off. And you're just like, "What the fuck?" Like his motivation just suddenly flips on its head. And I was just like, "What the fuck just happened?" Like,
yeah, that's not good.
Like, and there's a bunch of stuff like that where like character like motivations. Like you missed the scene here. Like, did I just skip a cutscene? Like, what the hell just happened? And you get a few of those. But again, like, I don't want to bag too much on the game because this is still a fucking fantastic game. But my specific recommendation that I've been hinting about is like Larian are patching stuff into this game. And they've done this. This has happened before, specifically with Larian Studios, with their previous two games, Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2, where people have had similar criticisms that I've just had and with those games, and then they've gone back and worked on them. And then what's happened is they've patched stuff into the game, and then around about a year later, they've released Divinity Original Sin 2 Definitive Edition, which took that game, in the part of the review where I said it's the difference between Baldur's Gate 3 being one of the best games of the year to being like one of the best games ever. Like they bridge that gap with the other two games, and I'm not saying they're definitely going to make a Baldur's Gate 3 Enhanced Edition, but what I'm saying is maybe just hold off. If the things that I've said about Act 3 specifically are making you sort of go, "Ooh, I don't know," because it sounds like it might be a bit dissatisfying, hang a fire and see what they do. I know that's a weird recommendation for a game I'm about to give 5 stars, but just hold your fire and see what Larian do next, because they do have a track record of making these mistakes, but they also have a track record of fixing them and making a much better game the second time around.
Like your argument is, the only flaw in your argument is, for me, is that I won't have the time for that.
Yeah, sure.
That's the thing about it. For me, it's either I play it at Christmas or I don't play it at all, and that's something that I'll never get back to, and that's disappointing. So
they've already, like I said, it's been what, 3 weeks since 4 weeks?
Yeah,
since 4 weeks since the game came
August.
out.
Yeah.
So that's it, 4 weeks since the game came out.
Yeah.
The criticisms of the ending, of the character specifically, didn't start when the game came out because no one had finished the game. So they only started recently, but they've already patched something in to help with it. They're already talking about the next patch putting epilogues back in. So even by Christmas, like, they might have already improved the situation. So maybe even just waiting until Christmas might just be a case of, hey, they've put a bunch of cool stuff. Maybe it's even by the time we get to Christmas, I'll be playing it again. To get those sweet epilogues. I will go through the whole game again to get those epilogues. But no, like, if you can't wait and you want to play it because you're just really hyped to play it, fucking play it, because like I said, it is still an amazing experience. The highs outweigh the lows, like, by a tremendous degree.
Yeah,
I think part of the problem is a lot of the lows are right at the end, which is the last thing that you do.
But by the end, like I said, like you said, like by Christmas, so you've hopefully fixed those endings or those lows in the ending. And that's all good then. So I'm still gonna hold off till Christmas for it, just because of what's all coming out. Like right now, I'm playing Goodbye Volcano High, hopping straight onto Sea of Thieves, Sea of Stars after that. Which I definitely can't wait to crack onto then. With
Sea of Stars, I have it flashing up on my Xbox. My Xbox is still turned on.
Yeah.
Does that thing where it's showing you achievements you don't have, and even though I haven't booted the game up for some reason, it's like, hey, you almost got this Sea of Stars achievement, and I'm like, how? I haven't even started the game yet.
Done anything, people, come on. But no, and then obviously Starfield's the week after, but thankfully after that for me, I've got a little bit of a lull period for me. Probably different for you, but for me, like there's nothing really the week after to what I can see of what I would probably want to play. But then after that, it's like
the idea that Starfield in a week.
I'm like, the missus has already said after seeing the trailer for it at Gamescom, she's like, "Wait, there's some new Mortal Kombat coming out?"
Oh, okay.
I said, "Yeah." And then she was like, "I won't lie. If you saw her, how she was reacting to the trailer, Amy, it would have made you laugh your ass off." It was really funny.
Yeah! Fuck him up!
Like,
Kill him!
Yes! Oh, what are you going to do? Oh, yes, do it! It was like, wait, what?
Have you ever thought about, instead of getting me to do these reactions to like Gamescom and Summer Games, like just get Sophia to do it. Sounds like it's better content.
I filmed it one time, reacting to the first teaser trailer for the film version of Les Miserables. She loves that play, absolutely adores it. So when she saw that Hugh Jackman and like Russell Crowe were doing one and everything like that, she was just like, oh my god. So I filmed it from the background. She didn't realize I was filming it,
of course,
but she was watching it, and she turned around, she was just bawling in tears. I was like,
that's so cool.
Straight on fucking YouTube. And
I'm gonna get 100,000 clips views.
Clearly, yeah. And I would have titled it "Numbfuck Cries the Trailer." with a shock face. Oh
yeah, and you would have, but it would have been your face for some reason, not hers.
Yeah.
Should I put that on the thumbnail for this? Like Baldur's Gate 3 review, and it's just me going.
And me just like,
justice for character name.
No, but it's fantastic to hear.
5 stars, by the way.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's confirm it here. 5 stars for Baldur's Gate 3. So
my first.
I don't know if I was going to say, is that your first 5-star this year, isn't it?
It is. And I went back because obviously we haven't been doing the star ratings all year, but even if we had been, it still would be my first 5-star.
I'm surmising you haven't star rated Zelda yet.
No, not yet.
Yeah, I thought not, because you said you're not reviewing that until the end of the year. So
yeah, but
it's funny that you've reviewed Baldur's Gate, which is arguably just as big as Zelda. And
Zelda is a chill game to explore. Like, I pick up the Switch. I don't at the moment because I don't have controllers that work. But I pick up the Switch and like I just fanny about for a bit, and then I put it down. Baldur's Gate 3 was, I have to see what happens next, which I always knew it was going to be. That's why I knew I was going to review Baldur's Gate 3 before August was over. Because I was like, I have to know what happens next. I have to see the next bit and do the next thing. And I became obsessed.
Yeah, it's fascinating. So I'm going through my games right now, but obviously I have my own personal list and everything like that.
Sure.
I have three 5 out of 5 games right now.
We just
I'm just like, and I love how the difference is between you and me and everything like that. So it's like I really like that.
we treat the star rating scale differently. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, true.
We all have our own scales. That's why review aggregate websites are ultimately fairly useless.
Wrong. It should go off our review accuracy.
Like everybody uses their review scale differently. That's why they're fun to look at, but not much else.
All right, Amy, it's time for Indie Game of the Week, and
It
then we
is.
can go for our halftime.
I don't even need to do anything this week. I'll intro it. It's Indie Game of the Week. This is the thing we do every week where we talk about a cool looking upcoming indie game. This week's indie game is by Sweet Carole. Carole. We'll go with Carole. And I didn't pick it, so this is brought to you by one Mr. Moody.
By Sweet Carole is a horror thriller game inspired by the greatest animation movies and created by Chris Dowell. Be ready to jump into the world of Carole and wait. It says Carole and
It
then
says Carole.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just got copy paste
the rabbits that has infested it. Developed by Little Sewing Machine and Mean Grip Studios. It's going to be published by Just for Games. And it's going to come for Steam in 2024.
I have to fix it. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
I know. I'm not updating the Steam thing I've copied it from, but from the thing, I have to fix the grammar. Yeah, cool. So tell me about this, because I hadn't even heard of it until you were like...
So this game I've had on my radar for quite some time and everything like that, because I have played this game. I can state this and everything like that. This game is basically old school, for its animation, it's old school Disney when it comes to its animation. If you look at the trailer, it's absolutely... Just the animation alone is absolutely breathtaking and everything. And it looks absolutely breathtaking. When I saw it, I was literally thinking... I got the chills of when I saw Cuphead, just because of how great that animation was. I loved that animation style. It was so cartoony and so fun and everything, even though the game was a fucking pain in the ass. But no, yeah, I absolutely just loved this so much. I thought, it was absolutely amazing. And they finally, obviously, have announced it and everything and revealed it at Gamescom and everything and showed the gameplay of it at Gamescom. Trailer's out there. Go and check it out on YouTube and whatnot. But also go and give them... on Steam, yeah, and go and give them the support on Steam by wishlisting it. It's like, it's a game like this looks so good, and like it's just, I loved it when I played it. I didn't play much of it, but when I did play it, I was just like, yes, give me this, give me.
Hell yeah. Go wishlist that game, peeps. Links in the description or wherever you're listening to this podcast. Click it, watch the trailer like Moody said, but most importantly, click that wishlist button, because it really helps the developers and they love it.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. Let's take a break, Moody. Yeah, I don't know if you watched last week's podcast, but I did leave your context list in last time, so I'm excited to see what I can get you to do next. You already forgot. It's fine.
Yeah, I've already got. It's been a long week. Okay, let me know.
It's been a long week. All right, let's go.
Halftime show. Peace.
I finally ordered a pop filter for my microphone.
It's not that bad. I don't feel like it.
It is when I'm editing my own. Yeah, I can hear myself breathing a lot, and it's just like meh. So I've ordered a pop filter to try and sort it. I also ordered a book about the history of JRPGs.
Cool.
So I'm looking forward to reading that.
I've got back into listening to audibles, which is really kind for myself. I'm just my sleep one is I always listen to The Martian. I love that film, but that book in general, it's just such a really fun book. I just love how it starts. Well, I'm fucked. It's like, yeah, I like that. Log entry. I'm pretty much fucked.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to reading this. It's like it's called the rise of the history of Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, and the rise of Japanese RPGs in the West or something like that.
Cool. I'm also re-listening to it. So I've had this one for a while, especially. I love the original. So I'm listening to Ready Player 2 right now, and it's interesting. It's interesting. They go in directions that I didn't think they were gonna.
I haven't read Ready Player 2 apart from one paragraph of it that got shared around on social media a while ago.
What was that?
The transphobic paragraph. Yeah, don't ask me. I don't remember what it said. It wasn't a book I was ever going to read. I remember it getting shared around a while ago. And if you try to make me recall it, my head will explode.
No. Was it saying that the book's transphobic?
No, I think there was just like a bit in it. If I imagine it's Ready Player 2. I love how I've brought us back from the break and we're just doing this. It's fine.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
It's like
I didn't
because I'm trying to think. I don't think if it was if I was wondering if it's the quote like saying the book's transphobic because
no, it was a paragraph from the book. Like from in the book, where it was like it's just some really shitty writing. I don't know. I can't be bothered to dig through and find it.
No, asking you to, so that's all right.
No, I was curious to see if I could just find the paragraph, but the first thing that came up on the Google search was a YouTube video, which I'm not going to watch. And the second thing was a Reddit thread, and I was like, I'm just not going to go through it. It's like I just wanted to see the paragraph, but I guess I don't have the book at hand to whip open. Like, imagine if I just had it bookmarked and I just went, well, actually, it's this one. I also don't want to ruin things for people.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. No, for me, like just right now, like I'm just like, that's interesting. The direction you've gone with this, I don't know if it was the direction I would have gone. I also don't know if the book needed a sequel.
That's fair.
Well, when a book, I guess, becomes so popular and he also gets a movie, it's kind of quote unquote what
you got to, right?
You got to now.
Apparently,
yeah.
We can't just leave things alone. Like stories can't be stories that are told with the beginning, middle, and an end anymore. They've got to set up an entire cinematic universe.
Yeah. But like the things right now, it's like I'm not going to spoil any of that, but basically the main character, Z, he's just like, so you didn't really learn anything from the first book at all, did you?
Oh, I see.
He's like, he retreads a little bit of the things of what he's done before, and I'm just like, it's just like, I see where he's going with it. I see where the writer's going with it. What's his name? Ernest Cline. I see where he's going with it, and I can understand that how he's written him to it, but at the same time, I'm just like, but did you have to do it that way? No, it's George's story, and if that's how he felt he wanted to go for it, that's his story. Yeah. I'm not going to go off it on him like that or anything like that, but it's just like, that's interesting. I don't think it's a mess. Like, I've seen a lot of people say it's a mess. I don't think it's a mess. I just feel like it's a bit, like, disjointed. With how it ends, the first one, I've just felt like you could have gone in another direction, and I just feel like, I don't feel like it's a mess. I just feel like it's maybe just like, But I am enjoying it. There's parts of it like I'm really enjoying still. But yeah, awesome. I'm not here for. Please don't be update. Don't update. For God's sake, she'll kill my internet.
What's updating?
Steam. I just brought Steam up and then
never open Steam when you're doing something, man. What is it with Steam killing your internet? Like, it does it to mine as well. Like, if Steam starts downloading something, I can tell because whatever else I'm doing on the internet just fucking comes to a halt. Whereas, like, I can download stuff on the PlayStation, on the Xbox, anything else, and it's like, it's fine. But, like, I can't even, like, if I was watching something, like, if I was, like, YouTube, it would just fucking die. And I'd be like, cool, Steam's updating something then.
I know what's happening there.
Yeah.
Steam's killing something.
Oh, look, Steam's downloading a an update for a game, and now I can't do anything.
All right, let's crack on to
Yeah.
Moody's Time to Shine.
That
Still
was
a working title.
Words about books. Now let's do
Words
words
about
about
books.
games.
Words about books, time for words about the games. Okay, let's start with the one that I was the one who brought up and everything like that, and that is
Say that.
Shadows Gambit's The Cursed Crew dev is shutting down.
That is true. So this is a blog post from Mimimi co-founders Dominic Abe and Johannes Roth. Quote, dedicating the past decade and a half of our lives working on increasingly ambitious games took a heavy personal toll on us and our families. After the release of Shadow Gambit, we decided it was the right time to prioritize our well-being and to pull the brakes instead of signing up for another multi-year production cycle. We will be doing everything in our power to support our team, and we are now starting to reach out to our friends in the industry to find suitable job for all Mimimis. We are now focused on delivering the additional content for Shadow Gambit and fulfilling our duties as managing directors of the company to our team, our fans, and our business partners in the most supportive way we can. And while we don't know what the future will hold for the both of us, we still love video games. We had a really good run, and we are truly grateful for all of this. End quote. I don't know if you
I was good when I heard this.
Yes.
Absolutely good.
Me
It's
too.
like Desperados 3 was one of my favorite games a few years ago. And yes, like we both admit, this game came out of nowhere, Shadows Gambit, because we've just been focused on other games and everything. We didn't even realize they were releasing another game. But like soon as I found out, I bought the game and I've been playing it, and I've absolutely loved Shadows Gambit and everything. And
We talked about it last week.
yeah, like I spoke about it last week for it. Like so, this to hear this. I was just absolutely good to hear this and everything like that. Like it's like all the hard work and everything like that, and it's just like everything is just like they obviously. I can understand that they want the owners, the creators, and everything like that want to prioritize a good life and like having being with their families and everything like that. I think that's a worthy goal to go for and everything like that. And I also like that what they've come out and says like they're gonna strive to find all their employees other jobs and everything like that, which is like that's a really good thing to do. Like 9 out of 10, if this was any other big studio out there and everything like that, they would just like, all right, we're closing, guys, go fuck off. Use your severance and piss off type of thing. So
I mean, yeah, good on them for that. So you posted this in Discord, and I saw the title, the headline, whatever. Fuck! I just kicked my desk.
Did you just kick something?
I did. My desk. I just banged my foot on my desk. The gaming gods have cursed me.
Yeah, they don't want you to say whatever they want you to say.
Well, because I'm confused as shit about this. So, like, I saw the headline and I thought, oh, they've just like ran out of money or whatever. Like, you know, it happens. We've talked about it on the podcast before. And I was like, you know, I'm not saying that in a blasé way. Obviously, it's a terrible thing. But then I was just like, I read their post when I was putting it in the document, and I was just like, wait, why is the studio closing down again? Because yeah, sure, okay, the managing directors they've got the burnout and they don't want to do it anymore, and that's okay. But like, what about you're the managers of a company? What about like all of your employees who need the job? Like, it's fine for like, and I don't know. I just got really confused as to like, why is this entire company closing down because two guys don't want to do this anymore? Which is fair. If they don't want to do it anymore, they don't have to. That's what happened with BioWare when the doctors left. They just didn't want to do. One of them bakes beer now. It's great, but like they didn't close the entire company down. And I guess I was just confused as to why the entire studio has to get closed down, because I went searching for the answer. I was like, no, surely there's a logistical reason here. Yeah. There's a money reason. They couldn't find a publisher for the next game. And it's like, no, they just didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah. And
like, I was a bit, that's a bit shit.
No doubt about that. That is shit. I don't deny what you're saying. Saying that and everything, like I said, like, well, at least they're trying to do something to try and find their staff other jobs and everything like that and accommodation and whatnot, because at the end of the day, 9 times out of 10 over another studio employees wouldn't be able to do that. At least they've even said like I'm pretty sure like there's many articles have stated like they're still going to be working for the next I think the next 3 to 6 months, while obviously
Yeah.
still bugging the game, bugging the Shadows Gambit and everything like that. I would be very surprised. This obviously will probably go more towards the two owners than anything, but I'd be very surprised that if we don't hear this goes the Game Pass and the PlayStation thing soon enough, just to have it so it has a focus thing all the time and everything for a thing where everyone can get it on if they wanted to. For that, but yeah, like whatever decision, I don't know the ins and outs of what's going on here and everything like that. Like neither of us do.
Sure.
Like with what you just said, like it could be a money thing, and they're just not revealing that and everything. And if that is, that sucks to hear and everything like that. And they're just twisting the word. They're trying to say, no, we're just going to try and prioritize our health, our lives, and we're also going to try and find jobs for all our staff. And
yeah.
Like
well,
that.
I hope they do. Otherwise, like,
yeah.
For me, it's a case of I don't want to try and spin a nice message negative or anything, but like, yeah, like if they don't find jobs for their employees, it's like they're prioritizing their mental health over the well-being of all of the people who they employed, and yeah, I got.
But like I said, they said they're ramping down the studio over the next few months. So like there's still a few months to still try and find it. So they're like, hopefully that's them saying we're taking our time to find places for our places. For all we know, this has been in the works for there's no doubt about this has been in the works for a while, and the studio and the team have probably may have already known this and everything. They've just finally revealed it to the outside world and everything, into the industry, to say this. But maybe like they are fine. They've maybe they've already found places for a lot of their stuff and whatnot. Let's hopefully touch wood and everything. I would hate to think a little further down the line to hear that they didn't find anything and they just threw them out the fucking windows or out the doors and say they'll be gone with you and yada yada yada.
Yeah.
And everything. But yeah, it's like but I'm also like with the owners at the same time, it's just like we're done. We like it sucks. Like we're closing the studio and a lot of people are going to be affected by this. There's nothing they can do about that if no one wants to buy them, if they wanted to be bought, you know. So they have to make as long as they can mitigate the damage to their staff, at least it's something. It sucks still. There's no doubt about it. There's no good thing about this. We're all losing a great developer out there who's put out some amazing games out there over the last few years, and one of them's like what we've just said, it's come out, it's like 85 on OpenCritic right now, doing incredibly well, at least with the critics and whatnot. But it's like, yeah, it sucks. I hate hearing this and everything like that, especially as we're going to be talking about another one shortly. This one literally, that one's it shows the stark differences though between the next one, what we're going to talk about and everything, you know. And it's just like, fucking hell. We also don't know the behind the scenes shit.
It was just it was weirdly, somehow it was a very direct message, but also like a very vague message. And I don't know. This podcast has taught me to be cynical about the video game industry. So it's just like, wait, what the fuck did you do?
Yeah, you're cynical as hell. I can see that in you.
Hey, no. You guys like go and prioritize your mental health and do that. I think that everybody should and prioritize their mental health. I think that's something that we as a society do not value as much as we should. But also,
you've got staff who you're
people worked for you,
over.
and they required you to pay them to live. So yeah, it was a bit like, oh, okay. But we'll see. I'll be keeping my eyes open. I'm sure there are other actual game journalists who are out there keeping their eyes open as well.
Well, they didn't talk about a transphobic thing at Bethesda Studio, so who knows?
Who knows? Indeed. That's my Baldur's Gate review. There we go.
I won't go to the other one straight away. We'll go to something different for now. But speaking about Bethesda, let's go. Elder Scrolls 6 is apparently now in early development. But Amy, they showed us a trailer of this game so many years ago. What, 5 years ago now? Wasn't that them announcing that the game was in early development?
No. That was them saying, please buy Fallout 76. We still make things you like. It's in early development. That's according to Pete Hines, Bethesda Softworks vice president. So they just started.
Yeah, basically.
Which of course they did. Like,
next week they released Starfield, so
yeah. I don't know if you've seen the No Clip documentary about Bethesda Game Studios, but yeah, they make one game at a time. They're not a studio that makes like multiple, like the actual game studio, like the one in Bethesda.
Yeah, the one where he already knew about Fallout 76, he just couldn't talk about it until obviously E3. Yeah, I've seen that.
They've obviously got support studios that like do the stuff for like Fallout 76 and whatnot, but like the core studio only makes one game at a time. Starfield is finished. There'll be a team that will work on the many bug fixes I'm sure that game will need, and the main team have gone, okay, cool, let's do Elder Scrolls, so I'll see you in 10 years,
something like that. Yeah.
That's it. Thing is, man,
sorry,
I could like, it's like we go, oh, I wonder where the next one's going to be set. I wonder but it's like I don't play them, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm interested from an academic standpoint, but I'm not like going to play it probably.
Going off from what I've seen and read of the reviews of Starfield right now, if you like a Bethesda game, you're going to enjoy Starfield, and if you like a Bethesda game, you will probably enjoy Elder Scrolls 6 when it comes out and everything in 10 years' time. That game we already put out. That's a fantastic. Like, they found their niche and it works for them, and it does incredibly well. And yeah, good luck for them. Like we've known for many years. Like Elder 6 was never Elder 6 was never in development until Starfield was going to get done. Yeah. We've known that for a while. Like they would have had like concepts and everything, but nothing of definitiveness.
Yeah, if they've started development, that means they've been in pre-production at some point. Like so, like they're not starting from scratch. Just mostly from scratch.
No doubt about that. Let's go back to it. Saints Row developer Volition is closing down with immediate effect.
This has
just dropped today.
Yeah, this was another, hey, you should add this. And I was like, I already did. Oh, I already did. Volition is closing down with immediate effect. Announced in a statement, timed to coincide with the Starfield review embargo. So there was solemn.jpg, so I'll read that. Quote, the Volition team has proudly created world-class entertainment for fans around the globe for 30 years. We've been driven by a passion for our community and always worked to deliver joy, surprise, and delight. This past June, Embracer Group announced a restructuring program to strengthen Embracer and maintain its position as a leader in the video game industry. As part of that program, they evaluated strategic and operational goals and made the difficult decision to close Volition effective immediately. To help our team, we are working to provide job assistance and help the smooth transition for our Volition family members. We thank our customers and fans around the world for all the love and support over the years. You will always be in our hearts, end quote. The news comes after last year's Saints Row reboot, quote, failed to meet sales expectations, end quote, and reports of mass layoffs at throughout parent company Embracer. And then I wrote a little note at the end that said, maybe they shouldn't have gobbled up so many studios. I love mergers and acquisitions. They're great.
But I think there's no doubt about what you're saying there. Yeah, they've coincided this with releasing exactly the same time as the embargoes were dropping for Starfield. For them to drop this, to be completely forgotten about.
Yeah,
everything
and they thought we wouldn't notice.
Thankfully people are noticing it. It does seem like, which is really, really good, and I'm really happy to hear that.
It's weird.
Yeah, you spot on at the same time they've been Embracer is so poorly managed that they thought like that's by you, gobble, and they've just completely mishandled the whole situation. And it has happened to this. It's come to this where, and I hate to say this. This is not going to be the only one.
I was going to say, prepare for everything else. Because, they've fucking bought so many studios. And the entire time, when they bought a couple, at the beginning of their big buying spree, you think, okay, that's just a company doing company things, right? They're just acquiring studios and stuff. But then you get to a certain point where you're just like, how the fuck are you paying for all of this? Like, you bought like so many studios, which requires budget, you know? Like, where are you getting that budget from? And it turns out the answer is, uh-oh. That's the answer. Uh-oh. And now these guys have closed, Volition have closed, and it sucks to hear for anyone who's working at Volition. That fucking sucks. They've been around for so long, man. Like, I've been playing their games. I've been playing their games since I was a teenager, man. Red Faction. They made Red Faction way, way, way back in the day. I love that game. It was the first game where you could take a rocket launcher and blow a hole in a wall.
That's true. There's no doubt about that. I remember Red Faction. Such a good game. For me, it was my multiplayer game growing up and everything like that, or my co-op game growing up, playing with my friends and everything. Just that game for me compared to the Halo and everything. But no, yeah, it's like it's incredibly disappointing. It just shows of just like terrible management, expecting so many things and everything like that, and then throwing out a game that just. I never played it, so I can't comment on the last Saints Row or anything like that. But I'm just going off what you've said and what also other people say. I know you weren't as bad on it compared to what everyone else was and everything, but it's like it's a game that literally was thrown out to crash and burn, and it seems like it from what I've saw, and it just did crash and burn. Yes, I don't know what their sales expectations for this game were. Was it unrealistic, or was it Square Enix levels? Who fucking knows with this? But
there's reasonable, unrealistic Square Enix sales expectations.
Basically, yeah. And
like,
I hate to see this, man.
To retread some old ground about the Saints Row reboot, because I reviewed it last year. It was one of the games that I actually played. Yeah. And like, people were just way over the top with their criticisms of that game, like to an absurd degree, and like it just made me feel like there are probably people who made Saints Row 2022 who saw the shit that was getting slung by professional game critics and like quit the games industry off of the back of that. It was so horrible to see how hard certain people were going in on that game for like no good reason. Like, oh, the dialogue's a bit cringy. Okay. The dialogue's a bit cringy in most games. Have you played a video game? Like, I don't know. There was just something weird about it. I mean, I brought it up at the time when I was reviewing the game, so I'm not going to labor on the point. But it was just so over the top and mean spirited. Like it got to me, and I didn't even enjoy that game particularly all that much. But like, yeah, it even got to me a bit where I was just like, I was seeing like some people like clipping things and going, "This is actual dialogue from Saints Row," and I was just like, okay, it's a bit cringy. Like, what's the big deal?
People didn't like it at the end of the day. I understand where
you're allowed to not like a thing, but like to just like drive out of your way to be shitty to a bunch of human beings that made a game just felt wrong. Like the critical reception to Saints Row was probably spot on for the game that we got, but like the way
the dialogue,
the way people went about it just felt wrong.
That's the internet. Sadly.
But it wasn't even like, you know, the woke, the people who are like, oh, woke, no. Like, yeah, sure, they were talking shit. They talk shit about everything. I'm talking about, like, fucking people I'm not going to name because I don't want to start fights. Like, he was just supposed to be, like, good game critics. And it's just like, what are you doing, man? Why are you being like this?
Yeah, we've spoken on many occasions about great game criticism on many occasions on this podcast, and how some just don't do it at all and everything. So yeah,
same thing happened with Forspoken, which I thought people were just way too like specific and personal with their criticisms. Like, they weren't just saying, hey, this is a bad game. They were saying like, hey, the people who made this should feel terrible. And it's just like, you know, no one said that outright, but it was just a case of that's what it felt like people were driving towards, and it's just like it's just a poor game. Like,
yeah, like I can understand from a certain point for like what where people would maybe coming from. Like I've stated on many occasions, like I'm driving, I go towards more games that that speak to me and everything like that. And if they've got a story in that and it affects me, and I think that's amazing. Like on many occasions, on many games this year, I've praised stories, the writing, and everything like that. So it's like, but there's also been someone that's just like, this dialogue is terrible.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure I said that with so maybe a very bad example here, but I'm still going to say it, the AEW wrestling game. The dialogue was terrible in that game. I'm not going to deny it, Amy. It was really bad.
No. I mean, I'm not talking about like being critical of the game. That's a thing. Like, you're allowed to do that. I don't know. Like, to really highlight the point, I'd need to actually find the examples again.
Sure.
But like I don't know. It just struck me as like, as someone who was told. He was given a great piece of advice years ago, which was write your reviews as if you're saying them to the person who made the game. And that really changed my perspective on like how to critique things, like in general, like just overall. And I always try to sort of keep that in mind. It's like, would I say this to a person who made the game's face? Like, is this, you know what I mean? Like, and I run through a filter of that, and I just think there was some of that was missing, I think, for a couple of games, Saints Row in particular. And yeah, this is 100% a fucking to bring it back to the main story.
The main story, yeah.
Yeah, this is 100% mergers and acquisitions, baby. This is what happens. Companies get bought and then they get closed.
Yeah. But yeah, like we said already, this is not the first one.
No.
There's many more. There's others. We know it's going to come. We know it is.
They don't have the money to sustain themselves. And I'm talking about Embracer here, not Volition.
Yeah, which is a shame and everything like that. I hope everyone lands on their feet and everything like that. So the same goes for, like, I didn't say for Shadow Gambit. I think I did.
You did.
Yeah, I hope everyone lands on their feet. Let's have a laugh. Weirdos online are already worried about Starfield will be woke, Amy.
They are, yeah. I pulled a news story for this one. So, this is
from... title actually say Weirdos online are already worried about Starfield. I love this. Thank you, The Gamer. Thank you.
This is from Josh Coulson over at The Gamer, who writes, "It's finally Starfield week. Even though its release date isn't until September 6th, reviews for Bethesda's RPG will drop later this week. And then those with early access will be able to start playing on Friday. It's a week that has been years in the making. However, even though no one other than a handful of reviewers and those who helped make the game have played it, some people have predictably started to worry about Starfield being woke. A discussion sparked on Steam's Starfield community hub by someone asking, quote, will it be woke, end quote, has generated so much chatter that at the time of typing this, the question has almost 1,000 answers. As you will have already guessed without needing to look at the 65-page thread, quite a few of those nearly 1,000 replies range from narrow-minded to downright bizarre, further proving whatever the word woke used to mean, no one is entirely sure what it means anymore.
They don't. That's the thing what really annoys me. I'm sorry for putting in there. For it. They fucking don't. And that's the thing about it.
Oh, they don't. I know.
Continue.
I know what woke means. Rage Against the Machine screamed at me in the 90s at the end of The Matrix. Top of the pile is, quote, it might be a bit, but not anywhere close to the mess that Baldur's Gate 3 is, end quote. Baldur's Gate 3 has become the surprise hit of 2023, launching a month earlier than Starfield on PC to avoid having to compete with it more than it will have to over the coming weeks. Something else that makes the game work, apparently, is making its women look more like actual women and less like robots made in a factory specifically for men who complain about things being woke. The change to Aloy's design in Horizon Forbidden West and the reveal of the female protagonist in the new Fable had both games labelled woke by a certain corner of the gaming world because its women looked more realistic. It seems, should Starfield dare to do the same thing, then that will apparently qualify as woke too. I don't know, like, on the topic of Starfield, and this isn't me having a criticism. This isn't a criticism of Bethesda games. It's more an observation. But like, all of their character models just look like someone stretched skin over a mannequin.
I'm trying to find this woke thing.
Maybe it's just been delayed.
So I can write in it and say, you're fucking idiots, the lot is.
Maybe he's going to dictate his reply as his part contribution to this part of the podcast.
No, yeah, like, seriously, like, the fuck fucking idiots, man. Like I said, when I rudely interrupted you and everything like that,
No, it's fine.
but it was just like no one understands what woke is anymore, at all.
Well, these people don't.
They don't. Like, no, that's what I'm saying. When people say woke or anything like that,
this woke?
that's all, because no one understands what the fuck it is.
If you go to any relatively popular game on Steam, go to their forums, you will find a thread titled, "Is this game woke?" Like, on every single one. Like, I've been to games Steam forums that you haven't heard of. and there'll be somebody in there going, "Is this game woke?" Because apparently, like, they're so shit scared of a game being whatever their version of woke is that they won't even consider, like, going on the store page because might infect them with the woke virus. Like, I don't understand. And I mean, I'm glad I don't understand. I don't want to understand these people. But, yeah, no, it's always good to laugh at them. Like, the thing about this is, you found out, haven't you?
I found one. There's a few.
Like, the thing...
How do you spell idiots again?
IDIOTS.
Yeah, thank you. Okay.
So, yeah... This is awesome. I'm gonna... Maybe I'll use a screenshot of this as, like, the thumbnail for the video. Just your comment on Steam. I don't know what I was going to say but before you said that, and that's totally fine because I'm really happy.
Where's the others?
That you've done this. Like, this is a live Reacts podcast now. Moody's just going to tell everybody on the internet they're stupid.
Confirmed woke gameplay. There we go. Let's find another
What?
one. Come on.
Sorry.
You all are fucking idiots.
Sorry. Did you say woke gameplay?
Yeah.
Please, God, go to the opening
put
post.
In there, confirmed woke gameplay in the discussion.
What is woke gameplay? Do they
I have no. Oh,
do they elaborate?
Yeah, I can find out. Let me see. Oh shit, I lost it. Where is it?
I get what they mean. I get what they think they mean when they say like woke game. I'm fascinated to know what woke gameplay is supposed to be. This is like that episode we did. You remember the Resident Evil 4 woke soundtrack? And the entire time I was going, what the fuck's a woke soundtrack? Like, what the fuck is woke gameplay, Moody?
I don't know. Oh shit, I lost it. Gameplay. I lost it.
Oh, no, you can't tease me like that. No.
It's vanished.
No, Moody. Now
I'll find this.
Now I'll never know what woke gameplay was. We don't have time for you to find it. Come on.
I know. But they're all fucking idiots, and it's so funny when anyone brings up woke. Go fuck yourselves, you whiny little children. There.
Yeah.
I will keep looking. Oh shit, no, I've got to pick the next one, don't I?
No, it's fine, because I had a thing I was going to say, but I keep forgetting what it is every time you bring up Steam, and I'm just like, hang on. And then I remember,
found it.
And then you do that, and I go, oh, I forgot it again.
Okay, so this is what this person has put. Well, a streamer friend who has had access couldn't hold his tongue any longer and spilled the beans to me while we were enjoying morning mimosas and reading market trends.
You sure this isn't a troll post?
I think it's a troll post. And yeah, I've still put down, you're all fucking idiots.
The thing about people like this is, because I'm sure people wonder why we bring this up constantly on the podcast and laugh at them. It's because they don't deserve to be debated, but they do deserve to be mocked.
Oh, hell yeah.
Like,
mock the shit out of the bastards.
Like, if you debate them, if you take their ideas and try to, like, logically argue against them, one, they don't care, they just want attention. But you're bringing up their ideas to the level of, like, reason, which is not where those ideas should reside. Instead, what we do is we mock them because that is all they deserve.
Yes, they deserve nothing but mockery.
And also, if anyone ever figured out what a woke soundtrack is, amy@wordsaboutgames.net. Send me that email. I need to know.
Amy will send it to me.
I don't know. I still don't know. But yeah, yes, that's why we mock them. I'm never going to seriously, like, debate their ideas or debunk them, what they say or anything. It's not worth it.
There's only one this is in IGN. 7 out of 10 now. Refund now. Fucking hell, guys. Seriously.
Oh yeah, IGN's their new BFFs after that Baldur's Gate 3 video, isn't it?
that Xbox podcast must be loving the IGN review because it said what he said they were going to do. 7 out of 10.
Oh shit, I forgot about the Xbox era guy. Yeah, Starfield's gonna be a 7.5 if everybody's already decided. Stick around to OpenCritic Head-To-Head to see how wrong that guy was. Anyway,
IGN listened. IGN was the only person who listened to that podcast.
IGN are the only
Sadly,
people
we
telling
know
the
people who have
truth.
been on that, so they're just idiots as well. So, never mind.
IGN are the only people telling the truth. Clearly.
Okay. Yeah, I will stop whining, hunting down the whiners. Let's crack on
Until after the podcast. This is what you're going to be doing all night.
Yeah.
I want to hear all about it next week.
Okay, before we get on to the next one, let's go. Let's go Baldur's Gate. Lae'zel from Baldur's Gate 3 sparks debate on how we treat female characters.
Lae'zel. And this was one of the stories we didn't get to last week. And I pulled it from The Gamer. I think it's written by Rhiannon Bevan. And I think she made some excellent points, and so did a lot of people that she quoted here. So we're gonna do it.
Let's just shout out The Gamer. Shout out
The Gamer. Yeah, right. Like you know the Volition thing.
Yeah.
I saw it on Bluesky. And I was like, cool, I need to go find a news article about this so I can copy paste the quote.
Yeah.
Because I was on my phone and I went on the computer and I was like, where am I going to find this? And I went on a couple of sites and they didn't have it. And then I went, oh, you know who's going to have this?
The Gamer.
The Gamer. And I went on The Gamer and it was their story. And I went, yeah, thanks. But they didn't have the quote, but that's why I copied the picture.
Yeah.
From. But yeah, shout out The Gamer. They rule. So the Rhiannon wrote, for the most part, everyone loves Baldur's Gate 3, gang. Whether it's Karlach's contagious enthusiasm or Astarion's bad boy charms, most players can find something they like about their companions. The exception to this rule is Lae'zel, who appears to be the most unpopular party member by far. However, some in the community feel that Lae'zel, and all of the female companions for that matter, are being held to a higher standard than their male counterparts. Some argue that Lae'zel wouldn't be as hated as if she were a man, saying that she would be seen as badass rather than difficult. The debate has even attracted the attention of former BioWare writer David Gader, who says he noticed the same sentiment among Dragon Age fans. He wrote in a tweet, quote, no, he didn't. What? Okay, quote, I'm confident if Lae was a guy, people would be swooning about him being so edgy, says Twitter user @BlackCylinder, responding to a viral negative tweet about Lae'zel. They argue that the popularity of Astarion is proof that fans hold female characters to a higher standard since he also has villainous traits. David Gader, who was a writer on Baldur's Gate 2 before leading the creation of Dragon Age, agrees that this is an issue in fandoms. He said, quote, the Dragon Age fandom consistently gave way more latitude and forgiveness to male characters as opposed to female characters in every game, end quote. While he doesn't explicitly state which characters he's referring to, there are many examples of this phenomenon among Dragon Age fans. For example, violently anti-mage characters such as Cullen and Fenris are among the most popular romance options. Vivienne, a black woman who is also a pro-circle anti-mage independence, doesn't enjoy the same popularity. In a follow-up tweet, he confirms that he doesn't feel that this issue has got any better. Quote, it was the same way for DA2 and DAI, not just DAO. Fandom has always treated male characters with more forgiveness, full stop, end quote. Others disagree with this interpretation, criticising Lae'zel's ongoing hostility and defending Astarion as damaged rather than purposefully hateful. They also point out her racism and the fact that she only sees value in her own set of beliefs. However, the argument that some are making, including Gader, isn't that Lae'zel is a good person. Instead, they claim that she would have more apologists for her worst behaviour if she were a man, just as Astarion does. Baldur's Gate 3 certainly isn't the first game to spark this discourse. Infamously, the loudest Last of Us Part 2 players unanimously hated Abby while defending similar actions from Joel in the first game.
And similar actions by
Ellie in the second
Let's
game.
not forget this. Yeah, in the second game. Let's not fucking forget this here. Yeah, it's this is a tale as old as time, sadly.
This is like that hornet's nest that's been hanging around in the bush for the last 20 years, and what we've decided to do is punch it and see what would happen. Oh no, here come the hornets. No, like, I can speak to this as obviously someone who's played Baldur's Gate 3 from start to finish, where it's like Lae'zel's issues that were highlighted in one paragraph there, like the ongoing hostility, the racism, quote racism, and the fact that that's like her journey in the game. Like, if you follow through on her storyline, like, that's how stories work. Characters change over time. And like Astarion doesn't. I think they make a good point in this article that Astarion is given way more latitude than Lae'zel, despite the fact that they're both kind of shitty.
Yeah. Yeah. And one's male, one's female.
One's male, one's the one who has more defenders is male, Astarion, and the one who doesn't is the one who people are banging on Twitter apparently is Lae'zel, who is female.
Yeah. Sadly, it is the tale of all time, as old as time. Basically, it's like people will gravitate to say that they don't like it because she's female or something like that. And
but they don't say that.
But a lot of the asterisks can be seen in a male, and like they see it as edgy or he's cool or something like that.
He's a badass. She's just a pain.
Yeah, she's a pain in the ass. She's a whiny person. Get in the kitchen, type of thing.
She's a badass. Like the thing that makes it extra funny is like in a party full of strong characters. Like all of the characters in this party are strong in their own ways. Like Lae'zel is one of the literally strongest. She's a fighter. Like her class is fighter. She is a fighter. She can destroy. Like, you know what I mean? And it's just like there's that unspoken asterisk next to all of the criticisms from a certain subsection of people towards that character, which is just like, do you just not like her because she's a strong woman? Like, yeah, sure, she's brash and abrasive, like when you first meet her, and for a while after, yeah, absolutely. But like,
yeah,
if all the characters were the same, it would be boring.
Oh God, yeah, there's no doubt about that. Like, I can't state for anything when it comes to the characters for Baldur's Gate or anything like that for it. But like, and when it comes to like what the BioWare writer says, like about the same thing happened with Inquisition, I had no idea about that at all. Like, I was very, very slow to when it comes to like
played the game and you didn't
media.
Really...
Yeah. I didn't care about the thing or anything like that or whatnot. I just saw a game that I thought looked good, had played it and fell in love with it, played its DLC, played it to the end, played it multiple times. Shagged, I think, most characters, I'm not going to lie. I'm a bit of a slut in the game and everything like that. If I don't connect with a character, I don't care about sex or what their gender is or anything like that, if they're male, female, non-binary or whatever. It's just like, I'm not connecting to you. And for me, it's just that that's bad writing. Like, but I'm never going to criticize if someone said, like, if you said, but I love this character, and I would be like, that's fucking fantastic. It's a shame I'm not there with you, but it's fantastic that you found something in that person. And, that's just like, sadly, people just have to go there. People go there thinking, hey, it's because she's female or something like that, and whatnot. And who doesn't fucking love strong female characters?
Lots of people.
For fuck's sakes, man. Like, I stand by. I've stated this with my fucking movie podcast. The Holy Trinity of female heroines: Sigourney Weaver, Carrie Fisher, and Linda Hamilton. No one complained about anything in those days, and sadly, it was in those times, in the late 70s, early 80s, because we just didn't have many badass female characters in those days and everything like that. But if those films came out now, they'd be called shit about, they're woke and everything like that.
Is this film woke?
Yeah, they're woke because they've got a lead female. Wait, she's kicking the ass of a Terminator. What the fuck? She wouldn't be able to survive the Queen fight or whatsoever.
Oh, no. The Abbey discourse is coming back.
And what?
How does she have such big muscles in the post-apocalypse?
That's what it would be and everything. But those three are three of my favorite characters of all time. Like, I adore those three and everything like that. Yes, I have some amazing male characters who I adore as well. But yeah, it's just like, I'm sick of seeing this fucking Discord. It's like the same thing when we talked about the whiny woke people as well. It's just like, it's the same type of Discord. It's like, oh, they've gone woke. or some crap like that.
The
It's
issue
like,
is, the issue is,
it's just years of sexism.
yeah, it's years of sexism. The issue of having the discussion is, like, there's an interesting discussion to be had about the way fandom treats female characters.
Yeah.
And you will never be able to have that interesting discussion because, like, people, like, what David Gator chimed in with was really useful. It was like, hey, we had the same problem when we were making Dragon Age. Like, that's interesting. I want to hear more about that. The problem is, any interesting discussions that can be had very quickly get drowned out by people being defensive about the fact that you've called them out on their bullshit, which is bullshit. And then the bullshit in general, which is also like just white noise generator. Where it's like, yeah, there is an interesting discussion to be had about how we as like everybody treats characters just because they're women, just because they're black.
Yeah. And I'll just say this. Okay, I didn't romance Vivian, but Vivian's badass. Like, she's awesome. She's just blunt. She's just very blunt with you. That's all she is. That's how I always saw her when in Dragon Age Inquisition. She's just very blunt. She speaks her mind and just like, that's it. And I'm just like, okay.
I don't think I really did much, had much interaction with Vivian. Or the kid in the hat who spoke in like riddles.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's not because, oh no, scary black lady. Because like this character, like it happened in Baldur's Gate 3. There are just characters that I just don't, because there's so many and you can only bring 3 at a time. It's like, well, I can only interact with so many of you.
Yeah.
And I only played Dragon Age Inquisition once.
Yeah.
So it was like, yeah, like there was a few characters that just kind of got left by the wayside. Same in Baldur's Gate 3. Like Astarion, who was mentioned in this article, like just more or less got left by the wayside for me because I only have a certain amount of space. So I'll pick him up in a future playthrough.
Yeah, there's no doubt about, like, they give you so many toys, you can't play with all of them at the same time. It's just, but sadly, we wish we could. There's no doubt about that. We wish we could. And there's no doubt about it, especially depending on your play style. Like, there were play styles that I gravitated more to over characters because they suited the play style I was going for. It's just like, at the same time, it's just like, come on. If I'm a mage, I'm not going to take another mage with me. I don't need another mage with me. I need cannon fodder to charge at them while I'm shooting away from a distance.
You take 4 mages, and you don't have to worry about needing a tank if everybody's dead before they get to you, right?
I never thought of taking all 4 of them if I was a mage.
Yeah. I did that.
No, I'm already playing other games, Amy. What are you doing to me?
I did that multiple times in Baldur's Gate 3. I took like 3 like melee characters, just to fucking. I called them the Wrecking Crew. Like I had a nickname for them. That was
with his sledgehammers.
And with my bard in the background.
They're going to fuck you up, and you're gonna allow it.
You don't have a choice. You're all gonna die.
Oh, look, you're already dead. BioWare lays off senior writer staff as part of its recent
This is technically a follow-up. So we talked about the BioWare story last week. We now know a little bit more about the BioWare situation, and it's pretty bleak. I think it is anyway. This is from Vicky Blake over at Eurogamer, who writes, as part of its recently publicized cutbacks, BioWare has let go of Lucas Christiansen, the lead writer behind Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, and the writer of the first 3 Dragon Age games, Mary Kirby. BioWare announced earlier this week that it'll be laying off approximately 50 employees, around 20% of its total workforce, according to recent employment figures, as part of a, quote, shift towards a more agile and more focused studio, end quote. Each writer had been with the studio for over 20 years. Christensen is widely credited for not just bringing us the original Baldur's Gate games, but also credited as the writer behind some of gaming's most iconic characters, including Minsk and Mass Effect's Joker. Kirby, on the other hand, had been with BioWare since 2006 and is credited with bringing fan-favourite Varric to life. So I didn't actually copy-paste the bit that I wanted to. I guess I must have missed it. But yeah, it seems like they're laying off a lot of long-term writers from the studio as part of this move to get more agile. Because I guess the kinds of games they're making, Moody, they just don't need writers anymore.
The worst thing about it is that they're taking away from the senior stuff. They're leaders and everything for the companies and whatnot, and that's just like it's crap. It continues just to be crap at BioWare right now. Like I stated like last week, we're never gonna get the next Dragon Age anytime soon. Mass Effect, whatever it's called, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever, will appear someday. Maybe
All of them.
one of them, maybe when they're ready. By the time Mass Effect 4 comes out, we would have had a remaster, a full remake of Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3.
I don't know, man. Like, they talk like, I already fucking obliterated them on the agile and focused quote from last week, so I'm not going to do that again this week. But like, they talk about like, oh, I'm really committed to making like Dragon Age, the next Dragon Age, and it's all going really well. And like, you just fired the person who's been writing all of the Dragon Age games. Obviously, Mary Kirby wasn't the only person writing the Dragon Age games, but considering most of the other writers of previous games left the studio years ago, like, it just doesn't seem like it bodes well. Like,
yeah,
you just let go of two talented writers.
Yeah.
Like, one of whom created the original Baldur's Gate game. Mm-hmm. So he must have been there for a while.
Must have been all right. Must have done all right.
Baldur's Gate's kind of back in the headlines, guys.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like, the only thing, but it sounds wrong when I'm saying this at the same time, so I'll hold my hand up there. The only thing I can think of is that the writing's already done for at least the next Dragon Age, and they've decided they weren't going to use them for the next Mass Effect.
That sounds.
But at the same time, it sounds shit.
That sounds like a terrible idea because, like,
yeah, I admit that.
Because you'll undoubtedly find. Now, I don't know much about game development, but I do know a thing or two about writing. And like, what you'll undoubtedly find as you go on and through making the game is that you'll need to make adjustments to the writing.
Yep.
Like, writing isn't so, like, they don't, like, you can't write it's the same reason why TV shows that were currently in production have still halted, because even if they have completed scripts, they don't have any writers to rewrite those scripts on the fly, which is what happens all the time when you make TV shows. It's the same thing with video games. It's like, sometimes, you need to make changes to those scripts for a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
So even if the writing was locked in, it's like, well, hang on. Like, what happens when you need to change something? You're going to get like some intern to do it. And maybe that intern is an undiscovered writing genius, but probably not. Possibly, they might be at the company to do other things.
Yeah.
Not right.
Yeah, there's nothing about it. Yeah, like, I don't know. That's the thing about it. Like, I was literally picking at straws there.
But like, I just thought I'd pick at them with you, I guess.
Yeah.
I try and like wrap your hand tighter around the straws.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. But they still fell out.
They did. Well, I think I made a half decent point. But
yeah.
I mean, is it wrong? Is it wrong to say the only thing I think BioWare are moving towards in an agile fashion is not being a studio anymore?
I think, didn't I say that last week?
Maybe.
I'm not. I agree with you. I hate that. I hate that so fucking badly. Especially as you just think that freaking the EA head is wages of $20 million a year.
Yeah. Probably fund BioWare.
With his bonus. add on his fucking bonuses as well.
He could probably personally fund BioWare. But yeah, I don't know. It seems like, what was it I was watching recently? I was watching something recently where it was a video game cutscene, I think, and it was a Fallout New Vegas video I was watching, and there was a guy who said a quote about you can kill Caesar in that game. And it's like, oh yeah, the Legion is like a dead man walking. Like, it just doesn't realize it's dead yet. And I was like, is that BioWare? Just like, what's going on? Like, we haven't, unless we see something from them concrete. I don't want to, like, another piece of concept art or something. If we don't see something concrete from them soon, I'm like worried we're not going to see from them ever again. The next thing we're going to see is a solemn JPEG.
I agree.
Mergers and acquisitions, don't you love them?
The thing is, BioWare got bought ages ago.
Hey, sometimes it takes time.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But the thing is about it, like I've
thought.
said on many occasions, going off what I've heard, like, wow, just it's not just the EA, it's the management structure of BioWare at the same time. It's just all over the place.
Yeah. We've known historically that's been the case at the very least. BioWare magic. It sucks to hear. It sucks to see. And again, I don't have inside information. It sucks that it seems like it hasn't been fixed. I think is probably the way I would word that.
We'll see what happens. What happens. Like I said, they just brought in another creative director, and going off how what I've researched and also like speaking to the people I work with, who've worked at other studios and seen things change. It's like creative directors, they come in and they change all of it.
Well, because
because they want to go in their own creative direction.
Yeah.
So the guys they've just come in, and they fired off the senior writing staff.
Yeah.
Who will need to help him create the new scripts and it's just like, what the fuck are you doing, guys?
I don't know.
unless the senior was just going in just didn't agree with the direction. It was just like, well, all right, bye guys, and we'll just I'll keep the juniors as my seniors now and let them write it all.
And maybe they'll do a fantastic job.
Yeah,
I don't want to shit all over them. Yeah, I cross fingers that everything is righting itself with BioWare, but it sure doesn't seem like it right now.
Yeah, right now it's a bit all over the place, which sucks.
Let's No, we're out of time.
Cool. I was hoping you were going to say that. Thank you.
You know what else sucks? The rest of these news stories. No, we're done. We're out of time. It's time for what's happening next week. There's not a lot happening next week. By the time
there's something happening this Friday, though. Amy.
By the time you've watched this podcast, Amy will have played Bramble the Mountain King on stream. Twitch.tv/WordsAboutGamesUK.
I'll be watching it.
Do you want to be in Discord? Or in chat? I realised I didn't ask you that last week.
What time are you doing it?
6 p.m. Till 10, probably. It's my usual streaming time.
I will confirm tomorrow.
Okay, cool. But either way, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, good.
And hopefully finish the game. And then I can be like, yeah, look, there's Moody. There's Moody. I'll be like the little box in the corner and I'll be pointing at your name on the way past going, there he is. If you have scrolling credits. I don't know if you have scrolling credits. If not,
We are scrolling credits.
Okay, cool. So I'll be like, ah! And then I'll rewind them. And I'll go, yeah! And then when they're finished and you go back to the main menu, I'll play the credits again. There he is!
I'm looking forward to see what you think of the game. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, you know, we'll see. I'm famously really easygoing on video games, really. Do you know I've given out one whole 5-star review in 2023?
Yeah, you have. That's true.
But yeah, no, that's cool. I don't know. I think Moody's being burgled.
No.
Good news, Moody's not being burgled. Where was I? Oh yeah, I don't know what I'm streaming next week if I finish Bramble. So I don't know. Watch this space. The weird timing of this podcast is I usually hit publish on it after the stream, so it's not like I can even say, "Hey, I'm gonna." Why don't you go to Twitch and check it out? It's like, but it'll already happened.
Yeah.
So we'll see what I end up streaming. But there's also 2 games coming out next week. Maybe you might have heard of one of them. It's called Chance of Sinnoh.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it. What about Starfield? You definitely haven't heard of that, right? That's a really niche game.
That's niche. It's nothing.
Super niche. Who cares about Starfield, right? But those 2 games are coming out next week. One of them looks really interesting to me personally, like as a game that I'm really looking forward to maybe trying to dive into at some point, and the other one's Starfield. So
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Yeah. Starfield, I am looking forward to seeing what for playing that game. But right now, my focus is obviously on Goodbye Volcano High, and then I'm gonna crack into Sea of Stars. Like I'm really looking forward to that
Well,
and seeing what the reviews have been for Sea of Stars. It's just like, hello, baby.
look at it this way, right? Sea of Stars is probably what, like a 20, 30 hour game?
Probably.
That's probably how long it'll take Starfield to download anyway. Have you seen the file
Nope.
size?
No, I have not actually.
It's like 100 and something gig. It's like 120, 130 gig or something like that.
Bloody hell.
It's big. It's a big boy. 1,000 planets. If you come back to me and say, Amy, you would really love this game, I'm going to punch you. I'm going to punch you in your throat. I will spend the money on the travel simply to walk into your flat, punch you, and then walk out and travel all the way back. And then start playing Starfield. Because I respect your opinions and your recommendations.
Cool.
Let's play OpenCritic Head-To-Head.
Yep.
This is a game we play every week where we try to guess the OpenCritic average of upcoming games. Whoever guesses closest to the score gets a point. If you manage to guess the score correctly, you get 2 points. Last week we tried to guess the OpenCritic average of 3 games. We have 2 review scores so far. So, we'll start with Starfield. I guessed it would get a 92. Moody guessed it would get a 94. At the time of recording, Starfield has an OpenCritic average of 88. Never fails. Which gives Amy the point. Disappointed about this next one, though. Because we tried to guess the OpenCritic average of Sea of Stars, and Amy guessed it would get a 92, and Moody guessed it would get an 88. At the time Amy woke up on the day the review embargo dropped, it had a 95, but unfortunately at the time of recording it has an 89. Which means Moody gets the point. Which means nothing's really changed. I got a point, you got a point. Goodbye Volcano High. Apparently the review codes only went out on launch day. From what I've seen from people
Interesting.
who I know who are reviewing the game. Yeah. One of the Edge editors who works on the Edge magazine was literally saying, like, yeah, the review codes, they just got it on launch day.
That's interesting. I don't like the sound of that personally. I can appreciate it's their decision and everything like that. I'm just going off like how it was always for movies and everything like that. And I hated it when I heard that the review embargo wasn't until the day before or the day of the film and everything like that. Just makes me just say like they're wanting to hide the game type of thing. And I'm just like, but that's their decision at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, review. I mean, remember that period of time when Bethesda didn't give review codes out for their games at all, and everyone thought, "Oh no, Doom's gonna suck," and then Doom was amazing. Like sometimes it means nothing.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, but sometimes it also means something.
This is true.
I hope they have a review for hopefully next week. I hope I enjoy it. So.
You've played an hour and a half of it, and it doesn't seem awful.
Yeah, give it to.
Doesn't sound awful.
No.
Cool. So, Amy 27, Moody 21. Getting towards the end of the year, Moody. These points are starting to really count.
I don't care.
Neither do I. It's just a fun little way to talk about some video games, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what, spoiler alert, that's what OpenCritic Head-To-Head is actually all about. We get to talk about video games. So this week we've got one game up on deck because we already guessed Starfield. We're going to guess the OpenCritic average of Chants of Sennaar. It's coming out. It's been in a couple of Xbox showcases, coming out next week. I want to say I'll play it, but I'm not going to play it. Not at launch. It's not happening. But it does look really interesting. I am really interested to play it. It's like a tower. It's like inspired by the Tower of Babel, which is very cool. What do I think it's going to get on OpenCritic? I don't know. Sounds like a really smart game, which means a lot of game critics aren't going to like it.
Oh.
I'm so funny.
Subjective, Amy. It's subjective.
No, it totally is.
They didn't get Lake wrong at all.
This game doesn't have any blood in it. I can't shoot anyone.
can't jump off walls.
Where are my guns? I can't even fuck any of the other characters. What do I think it's going to get? Who knows? It's a fucking crapshoot. I am going to guess the OpenCritic average at 78, because those two buttons are next to each other on the keyboard. Sometimes that's just how it be.
79.
79. Well, I hope you're right, and I'm not.
Woo woo.
What can I say? I like it when video games are good. Shall we wrap the podcast up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up because I'm getting bugged right now.
No kidding. Hey, remember that joke I made about how I haven't trouble enough keeping your attention as it is?
Hey, we got to almost the end of the podcast.
What a funny joke.
It's not my fault. She was quiet for most of it. We got almost there. Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. I'm just waiting to see if I can see her.
No, you can't.
Not yet. Anyway.
She's at my feet here. She's not even that direction.
What if she like jumped up and attacked Bulbasaur?
She's nowhere near it. She'll never get that big. So we're all right there and whatnot. So, all right. Let's crack on. Let's finish.
Okay. Maybe do you have any final words of wisdom for the end of the podcast?
Yes,
don't know why you hit that back to me.
It is Friday. It's the end of the week. So as always, everybody go and tell someone you love them. Hug your parents. Give them kisses. Give them the love they deserve and everything like that. And just go and have an awesome week because you know why? Because you are awesome and never let anyone tell you otherwise. Have a great weekend and peace out.
Peace out, baby. It's humid in here all of the business. Amy's
Amy's
powering
down.